Okay, everybody, welcome back to my Descent of Dragon reviews. This is going to be my review of all the neutral cards. And as I mentioned in my introduction video, the star ratings, 6 star is for like an insane card should not be in arena. 5 star, great card. 4 star, good card. 3 star, above average card. 2 star, average card. 1 star is below average, too bad. And then I'll reference how bad it is in here. Alright, so first one, as I accidentally click here. Blazing Battle Mage, 1 mana, 2/2. We've seen this before in Enchanted a Raven, and that is basically I would say 3-star card, yeah. This is a 3-star card. It's above average, it's not really broken or anything like that, but it's really good and you want to take this. Depth Charge, does not have charge. At the start of your turn, deal 5 damage to all minions. Doomsayer is an average card, but this is no Doomsayer. Number 1, deal 5 damage to all minions is a lot different, especially later on, versus destroy all minions. Number 2, 5 health is a lot easier to get rid of than 7 health is. So, like, it costs less mana, but usually with Doomsayer the problem wasn't the mana or the mana making it hard. The problem was it's very situational. And I think this is a worse Doomsayer, so I'm going to say it's a high 1-star card, maybe low 2-star card, depending on your deck. Hot Air Balloon. 1 mana, 1/2. Start of your turn, gain 1 health. This is basically, like, if you go first, this is kind of like a Dire Maul. The effect is, like, not overpowered. So I would say 2-star card. It's average. It's not going to really be anything you pay attention to. Dragon Breeder here. Battlecry. Choose a friendly dragon. Add a copy of it to your hand. This is a high 2-star level. Yeah, high 2-star level card. So, yeah, the effect is obviously powerful, but you need dragons, you need them to stick, and you need to have this in your hand at the same time. I don't think that's reliable enough. So it's like, if you got the deck, yeah, it goes up a lot. But on average, this is like a first pick. Like, I would say there's a lot better cards that you can pick, cards that are a lot more consistent. Evasive Chimera, 2 mana, 2/1, poisonous. So, 1 health, can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, blocks mage, but Rogue and Druid can still just hero power it down. If you have small things, you can run it into the Chimera. So, 2-star card, like, it has the problem with other poisonous minions that it can hit really, really high, but you need the right situation and the right protection for it. So, you probably aren't going to have it on average. Grizzled Wizard, Battlecry, swap hero powers with your opponent until your next card. Really good card. This is a 3-star card for me, because swap your powers with your opponent. If you're playing a rogue and you are a non-weapon class, then hey, you paid 2 mana to get a 1/2 dagger. If you're against a warlock, you pay 2 mana and you get to draw a card when normally you wouldn't be able to draw a card. So then there's also a lot of times where you're going to be able to screw over your opponent by stopping their ping. Or you know they want to hero power to heal something, and you stop that. Now, especially for classes like Warrior or Hunter, where so a class like Warrior or Hunter, where you have a hero power that does not affect the board, this becomes a lot better for those classes. And also, I think what you can do, if you don't want to use the opponent's hero power, but you want to give them your hero power, is you hero power first. Then you play this, it swaps hero powers, but your hero power is already used, and so you can't use their hero power, but they have to use your bad hero power. So that's one way you can use that. Parachute Brigand, 2 mana, 2/2. After you play a pirate, summon this minion from your hand. So in Rogue, Warrior, you might get pirates, and you might be able to get this off, and that'll be good. But the impact of taking one of your cards, especially such a low-costed card, and putting it into the deck, summoning it from your hand. In the early game, it's insane, but outside the early game, it's not all that great. And again, you need the pirates to make this, like, better than a bad card. So 2-star in Rogue and Warrior, 1-star everyone else. Tasty Flyfish, Death Rattle, give dragon your hand +2/+2. So, obviously powerful card if you have dragons. I don't think you're going to have enough dragons reliably for this card. I think it's a high 1-star, low 2-star card. Transmogrifier. After you draw a card, transform it into a random legendary minion. We've seen the transform into random legendary minion effect before. It has never been good because the random legendary minion is almost always going to be worse than a minion you drafted. So this is worse than a normal 2/3, but it's not really all that much worse, so it's still a 2-star card. Orma's Purifier. Transform all neutral cards from in your deck into random cards from your class. I go really in depth on my review of this. The short version is, on average, it's going to make your deck better, but if you have a really good deck, you don't want this, and you don't know what your deck is going to be like the first 10 cards in. So it's a 2-star card, which will be fun, but that's pretty much all it is. Bad Luck Albatross. Shuffle 2 1/1 Albatross into your opponent's deck. 3 mana 4/3. That's 2-star by itself. The shuffle effect, it's not going to matter, but like in general, it's not going to matter. However, if you take a look, sometimes it will matter, and in those cases, if it does work out, then it'll really help you out. So I would say 2-star, borderline. I would say borderline 3-star card, but I would say like high 2, low 3. As I accidentally click off here. Okay, Blowtorch Saboteur. 3 mana 3/4 Battlecry. Your opponent's next hero power costs 3. This effectively for the rest of the game until your opponent uses the hero power, like you've overloaded them for 1 mana, and this is really good because you play this on 3, and you basically shut off the hero power for like the next 4 or 5 turns, because there is a huge difference on turn 5, on turn 6 between 2 mana and 3 mana and what you can play. So like in the late game, it's not that great, but in the early game, it's absolutely insane. And like sometimes you don't want a hero power, but sometimes you have the hero power, and making that cost 3, and because it's next hero power, they have to pay that 1 mana tax at some point. So this is a premium stat at 3/4 that effectively overloads your opponent at some point for 1 mana. This is a 3-star card, borderline 4-star card for this effect. Dreadraven has 3 attack for each other Dreadraven you control. This is a 3 mana. Okay, so you're not going to control other Dreadravens. This is 2-star, high 2-star card for a 3 mana 3/4. Firehawk. Battlecry. Gain 1 attack for each card in your opponent's hand. So if you play this on curve and your opponent doesn't play a 1-drop, you're going to get either a 5/6 or a 5/3 or 6/3 on curve, which is really good. So 3-star card. Like, yes, it's bad in the late game, but you don't really care about getting a 4/3 or a 2/3 in the late game. Gobble-Eyed Tech. If you control a mech, gain +1/+1 and rush. You are not going to control a mech unless you're Paladin. You have that weird mech 3-drop they have. So I would say this is it's a 3 mana 3/3, which is high 1, low 2. Living Dragon Breath. Your minions can't be frozen. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. 2-star card. Scale Rider. If you're holding a dragon, deal 2 damage. 3 mana 3/3. That's like high 1, low 2. The effect, if it goes off, it's SI7, which is like a 5-star card. So with this, because you have to factor in holding a dragon, you're not going to be able to do this reliably. So I would say this is probably a 2-star card. It's above average. You're not giving up that much for it, so you can. So it's one of those cards where like you can take a gamble that you get the effect, and if you don't, you're still just getting like an average card. So 2. Devoted Maniac, Galakrond card. Galakrond cards are not in Arena. This would be a 1-star card anyways. Dragonmaw Poacher, 5-star card. So your opponents are going to have dragons. You're going to play this, and you're going to kill something. Remember, rush, so you don't have to attack the dragon. You can attack anything else on the board. If your opponent plays a fairy dragon and they have a big taunt on the board, you can play this and kill off the taunt instead of the fairy dragon. So yeah, incredibly swingy card. I don't think it's like 6-star. I don't think it gets up to that range. But yeah, 5-star card here for this. Evasive Feywing. 4 mana 5/4 but cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers. The Dragon Tag is more important than this. It's a 2-star card, which you'll probably pick higher if you want to get dragons. But the effect here is not really going to matter all that much for it. Frizz Kindle Roost. Battlecry. Reduce the cost of dragons in your deck by 2. 3-star card. Like, again, remember, this is in your deck. Doesn't count in your hand. So this only affects things that you draw later. So because of that, it doesn't have an immediate impact, and it would be a 4 mana 5/4. Later on, might have an impact, not reliable enough. So as I said, it's a 2-star card that has a positive effect, so 3 stars. Hippogriff. 4 mana 2/6 Rush Taunt. So In Rostakhan's Rumble, there was a Amani Warbear, which was a 7-mana 5/7 Rush Taunt. That gave up 3 stats for Rush and Taunt and was one of the best taunt cards there was. This gives up, like, basically no stats. Like, gives it kind of like 1 stat. So it should be better than the Amani Warbear, except it's a 2/6. But if you take a look, we have Stormwind Knight, 4-mana 2/5 of charge, and that's a fine card. Stegodon was a fine card. So this card, I think, is actually going to be a 3-star card. Maybe, yeah, 3-star card, maybe a 4. Yeah, nah, 3 stars. I was going to say maybe a 4-star, but I don't think there's going to be enough things that you want to, enough small things that you want to ping off as that falls down. Where am I? Horde Pillager. So if you don't have weapons, it's a 1-star card. If you do have weapons, like, the problem with this card is that you have, on curve, it's bad. So even in classes that have weapons, it's a 2-star card, except really for Warrior and Rogue. Because Rogues tend to hero power on turn 2. And if you use up your dagger on turn 2 and turn 3, then you can play this, equip your dagger. You got a 4-mana 4/2 that equips a weapon, and that's good. That would be a 4-star, yeah, that'd be about a 4-star card. If you're Warrior, you get a lot of powerful weapons. Getting one of those random powerful weapons back, that is really good. And again, you can't play it until late game most times, but then that would be like a 3-star card for them. Then Paladin, Shaman, Hunter, you don't get enough weapons. You don't get enough like really powerful weapons, so 2 stars for them, 1 star for everyone else. Troll Bat Rider, deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion, 4-star card. We have Bomb Lobber before. Bomb Lobber had a better effect for 5 mana, but on this, you 3 mana 4/3s or 5/3s in the Dragonhawk from before. Like, you can get rid of them pretty reliably. Fireplume Phoenix was a 4-star card. It dealt 2 to a targeted minion. And I would say 3 to a random is probably the same as 2 to a targeted. So, good card, 4 stars. Wing Commander has 2 attack for each dragon in your hand. If you get 1 dragon, then it's a Yeti, which is like a borderline 3-star card. If you have no dragons, it's a bad card. I think, on average, this is going to end up being a 1-star card. Like, I don't think you're going to have enough dragons to justify this. Here, I'm just double checking. I don't think I actually rated this card. I think I somehow skipped over it. But yeah, I would say 1-star card. Border round 2. Zoldak Ritualist, Taunt. Battlecry, summon 3 random 1-cost minions for your opponent. So, compared to a Senjin Shieldmaster, you're gaining 4 health to summon what's probably going to be 5 attack worth of things for your opponent. Yeah, this is bad. Summoning things for your opponent is bad. Summoning 3 things for your opponent is super bad. If you play this and your opponent plays removal, you just gave them a bunch of 1-drops that you have to deal with. So yeah, 1-star card, don't take it. Big ol' Whelp. This is a it's a borderline 5-star card. I'll say this. Like, its power, what I mean is this. No matter how good this is, it doesn't affect the board. So the big Whelp, like, if I'm talking 5-star cards, I want cards that have an immediate impact on the board. I want cards that can win the game by themselves. And Whelp is not that card. It's a card you want, but as I said, it's borderline 5 stars. I would say 4-star, really, really good. You're going to draft it a lot, but not a, like it's really, really good, but it's not premium, super premium. Chromatic Egg, Battlecry, discover a dragon to hatch into. So Paladin had a card, Mechano Egg, 5 mana 0/5, which had Death Rattle, summon an 8/8. And that card was not good. Like, it was a 1-star card. And that was in Paladin, the class that had all the buffs. So this has all the egg problems. Like, and the other thing is that for a lot of dragons, their power is in their battle cry. Like Twin Tyrant, getting a 4/10 is fine, but its power is in the double flame cannon. So I don't think this is going to be good. I don't think you're going to want to take this 1-star. Cobalt Spellkin. This is a like borderline 3 to 4-star level card. So Add 2 1-cost spells from your class to your hand. If you go, I did not go through class by class. If you want to, Hearth Arena is going to rate this definitely class by class. Light Forges, you can look at them. You can look on HS Replay. I don't think that this is like I think this is about the equivalent to draw a card. Add 2 1-cost spells is about the equivalent to draw a card, especially because you can't play them, and especially because a lot of 1-cost spells are very situational and potentially useless. But it's a decent stat line. 4 mana, you draw a card, so that's like 4 stars, like 3 stars, 4 stars, right on that precipice. Faceless Corruptor, 6-star card. This should not be printed. So remember that with Paladin and Shaman, they have a hero power, and you can transform that token, or you can transform that totem into a 5-mana 5/4 that has Rush. You're basically getting, for Paladin and Shaman, a Firelands Portal, because you get to deal 5 damage to one thing, and then you get a 5-drop, which a 5/4 with Rush is, that can deal 5 damage to another thing. So, like, completely broken card in those classes, like 6 stars in those, like, hard 6 stars in those classes. In other classes, like, if you get this off on 5, it's just completely game winning. If you get it off on, like, the one problem with this card is that you need small things to hit with this. Because if you have a taunt, you don't want to transform your taunt. If you have a big minion, you don't want to transform your big minion. And I think that's going to hinder it a little bit and just prevent it from being, like, best card in the game level. Kobold Sticky Finger, Battle Cry, steal your opponent's weapon. If rogues are back, then you can steal the rogue's weapon. And again, that's powerful. We've seen cards like this before. We had, what was the card for Kazan Mystic, which was in GVG, which stole an opponent's secret. 4 mana, 4/3. So this is kind of in that range. And like Warriors late game, they play powerful weapons. Paladins late game play powerful weapons. So as a tech card, it's fine. And I would say high 1-star, low 2-star card for this. Plate Breaker, 5/5, destroy your opponent's armor. This is, I hate that this effect is in the game because armor was always better than health. And now it's like this card is going to just screw everything up. But in any case, what we're talking about, we're like, who are we targeting here? We're targeting Warrior. I don't think Warrior is going to be the top class in Arena. Maybe Druid, but it's like, it's a 2-star card with an effect that I absolutely hate. Shield Galakrond card, not going to be in Arena. Skyfan, Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, summon 2 random Murlocs. So, for this, 2 random Murlocs is going to be, the average Murloc is going to probably be about a 2/2. So summon 2 random Murlocs, you're getting 7/7 worth of stats for 5 mana. And that's if you're holding a dragon. And if you're not holding a dragon, you have a 5 mana 3/3, which is absolutely horrible. And so for me, this is a 1-star card. Like, if you got the dragon deck, go for it. But it's like, the payoff for this is not all that great. Like, it's good, but it's not like insane. And the penalty if you don't hit your dragon is just so high for this. Tentacled Menace. The effect here, each player draws a card, swap their costs. This is a negative at times, especially if you have board control. And if you're, so this effect is a negative. So I would say it's worse than a 5 mana 6/5. And that would probably be a high, like I would say a 5 mana 6/5 would be like a low 3-star card. So this is probably like a high 2-star card. Like, good card, but I don't think it's, I don't want to say good card, but it's like the effect just hurts it. The stat line is good. The effect just hurts it too much. Camouflage Dirigible. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Give your other mechs stealth until your next turn. You're not going to have mechs. This is a 6 mana 6/6. That's a 2-star card. Evasive Worm. This is a, I don't think it's broken enough to be a 6-star card, but I think it's like a high 5-star card. I went over this before. 5 attack is massive. You're going to take out, like, here, 5 attack. You have this guy, right? So you play 5 mana 6/5. That's good stats. You play this. You get rid of it. You get a spell immune character with 5/3 on the board. So 5-star card, borderline 6-star card. Like, I think it's like a little bit too powerful, but I think it's like in the range. It's okay. Gyrocopter here. 6 mana, 4/5 rush. So with Wind Fury. The problem with this is that on its own, a 4/5 Wind Fury just isn't all that good. So I don't think if you're not taking out 2 small things, then you have a problem. If your opponent has things with 5 attack on the board, it's not going to be able to hit them twice. So I think this is ultimately, it's a low 3-star card. I think it's solid. I think it can be useful, but I don't think it's like broken or anything. Kronk's Galakrond card, not an arena. Utarde Grapple Snipe. Both players draw a card if it's Dragon Summon. It's a symmetrical effect, but it's an RNG symmetrical effect, and it's a below statted card that does not do anything for you. 1-star card. Invasive Draconid. This is a, I would say, high 4, low 5-star card. So 7/7 Taunt is probably like a 3-star card, but cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers means this is going to be like really powerful, really annoying to get through. So I think with this card, yeah, probably 4 stars is better for this card. I think for this card, this probably is like the best big taunt you have, because it's going to be annoying. It's going to be super annoying to get through. Now, obviously, there's battle cries, there's poisonous things. You can kill it pretty. There are ways to kill it cheaply, but I think because you can't kill it cheaply, that it's pretty good. Shuma. This one is, I would say, let me just double check my rating here. I want to say it's like a 3-star to 4-star card. Let me pull my thing down here. Okay, yeah, 3-star card. It's like a 3-star card, kind of like a high 3-star card. So because of the end of your turn effect, this can single-handedly win you games. And like, even if you don't get the end of turn effect off, you still have a 1/7. You got a bunch of 1/1s to deal with. So if you can kill the Shuma for free, and then the 1/1s, you still have to deal with them somehow, or they can just hit random things. So it's good. Like, the effect here is really good if you can get it from multiple turns, but it just doesn't provide like enough pressure by itself for me to be really high on the card. Twin Tyrant, 6-star card. As the question is not, is it broken? The question is how broken. And I'm saying it's a little bit less than 7 mana Bone Mare. It's a little bit less than 5/5 Corridor Creeper. But yeah, you're going to lose so many games to this. You're going to wonder, like, you're going to pray Blizzard takes us out of the arena. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Alright, this one is a 4-star card. So the effect, if it goes off, is absolutely insane. Like, no question. The problem is you have to have a singleton deck. Now, at 9 mana, you'll probably draw, like, if you have any duplicates, you'll probably draw them anyways. So that may not be that big of a deal. But, like, other cards, other singleton cards, they have higher penalties because you have to give up a lot to get this. So I think with Alexstrasza, you don't have to give up. Like, I think it's not that easy to make a no duplicate deck. That's the reason why Zephyrs and why Kazakus were never like really broken in arena. Like, they were really, really good, and they would certainly justify the singleton effect. But yeah, ultimately I would say 4-star card, it's good, but I think that there are other legendaries that are more reliable than Alexstrasza. And here, Sathravar. This is, I would say, 2-star card. The problem is, it's too slow. So a 9 mana 5/5. So we can ignore add it to your deck. Add a copy of it to your hand and draw a card. So you need to really hit a 3. For this to be an above average card, you need to hit a 4 mana minion, which means you need something from the turn before to live so that this can target it, so that you can get something on the board and you can get a powerful card to play the next turn. So if it hits something huge, then yeah, you obviously win the game, but I don't think that's going to be reliable enough, and I think this just comes out too late with this effect for it to be really worth it. Alright, that was my neutral video. The next video I do, I'm going to try to do 3 classes at the same time. Again, if you want to see any, if you want to see more in-depth reviews where I give like specific point values for each of these cards, check out my review down below, down there, and I will see you guys for the next one.